and welcome to the third video in this series here that takes a look at some of the most notorious or known or, players in Legends who have somehow made an impact on the game and, had their gamer tag etched into really the history of the game. And this video here is about BRAV0XTR0T, and he is mostly known for his destroyer skills really, and he does have the damage record in Akatsuki, very suitable for him because he is, I'd say he's the best destroyer player that I have ever come across. He does apparently play other classes as well, but if I were to set up a team and I had to pick a destroyer player, Bravo would be my pick number one every time. So anyway, let's get into the questions that I asked Bravo, and they're pretty much the same questions that I've asked other legendary players in the past, so that way you can compare between the players. So the first question is, as usual, when did you start playing Legends? And Bravo has been playing since the day this game was released, and I actually remember him back from those days, the really early days, like the first few weeks of when the game was out, because I remember getting torped by him back in those days. Yeah, well, that's something that has been repeated ever since, more or less. Alright, so next up, what made you start playing Legends? And I mean, it looks like Bravo was a World of Tanks player. I played that game myself, but I just never got into it. Nowhere near the same level as Warships. And his interest in that game started to fade just as Legends was released. So I guess that all worked out in the end. But like I said, World of Tanks has never really got me hooked. It should have, because it's right up my alley. I like tanks. I like the strategic gameplay in there as well. But I just don't like the way the game, like the UI, just makes me just want to quit it every time I play it. Next up, we have one of the quicker questions here. Which platform do you play on? And Bravo plays on Xbox. So of course, if you want to division with him, it's easier if you have an Xbox, although you can do it on PlayStation these days as well. So this was the question here that I alluded to in the beginning of the video. It is, what is your favorite ship? I mean, I was fully expecting something like Kleber or I don't know, Yukikaze or some destroyer. I mean, but it turns out that Bravo actually absolutely loves to play the Minotaur the most. And he also uses a radar build with Hot Rod as commander. And well, I get it. That's the same build I'm using. And you're kind of like a goldfish in a piranha tank. And yeah, I totally agree with this, because I also have the most fun I can possibly get in this game here is to play a radar Minotaur. And an agile radar Minotaur at that. I don't know if Bravo does that, but anyway, he has a radar build on it, so it's pretty close. So Bravo's favorite ship may be a cruiser, but his favorite class is destroyers, and that makes total sense. That's, in my opinion, what Bravo is known for, is like very solid destroyer play. Doesn't matter if he plays alone or in a division with Unicums or whatever. Like, I've seen him in action on his own, and I've seen him in division. I've played with him in division, and yeah, he is absolutely one of the strongest destroyer players out there, no question about that. So on to the next question, and it is, what is your favorite tier? And a tough call, but I have to say tier 7 due to the diversity of ships compared to tier 8s and legendaries, and typically better level of gameplay amongst both teams to an extent. And that's true. I mean, it didn't used to be the case in my opinion. I think 2 years ago tier 7 was absolutely horrible, and tier 5 was like more consistent. But these days I agree tier 7 is probably the best tier to play if you want some quality gameplay, which sometimes can be a challenge, actually most of the time, even at tier 7. But yeah, I agree with Bravo here totally. Okay, we are moving on to what is your favorite map? This is always an interesting question, I think, and I really find it, it piques my interest to know what some other players actually think are the best maps in the game. And for Bravo, Two Brothers, Domination Mode is one of his favorite, let's put it like that. And yeah, I agree, I also really enjoy this map, especially in Domination Mode, where you can actually go down the middle of the map and do something good. I mean, in a capture the base, going down the middle is it's kind of a gamble, but in domination, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. So yeah, it's not my favorite map, but I totally get why BRAV0 would pick it as his favorite map. And funnily enough, my favorite map is actually BRAV0's least favorite map, which is kind of ironic, I think. So that map is Shards, mostly due to the designated spawn for divisions in the middle. And yeah, okay, I get that. The middle spawn is, yeah, it's not the best spawn in the game, but I don't think it's the worst spawn in the game. And then almost always watching one or both of your flanks run away, leaving you exposed without cover in the middle. Very frustrating. And yeah, well, that's true. I really enjoy Shards though, and I can handle the B spawn, but I prefer one of the other spawns, obviously, because those spawns, they are the spawns that win the battles on this map here, and that's why it's fun. And then I like the instant action, and also the fact that it's really hard to hide on that map. And that's something that I really value in maps. Okay, on to what is the best thing about Legends. And BRAV0 says, I think Wargaming does an excellent job of taking real ships, some of which would likely kill another in a single salvo or torpedo, and made it into a very tactical game where intelligent placement and intricate knowledge of armor, calibers and penetration values can give you a significant edge. And yeah, well that's what I think too. And I think it was Let 'em Peak who coined the phrase that it is thinking man's action game, because on the surface the game looks very simple. I mean, you sail in a ship and you shoot other ships, but there's so much more to it, and that's also one of the reasons that the gameplay for experienced players sometimes can be very frustrating, because other players haven't really, you know, taken the time to really understand all the levels of the game. Okay, on to what is the worst thing about Legends, and unsurprisingly, BRAV0 is also in the no clans and training rooms camp, and yeah, I totally get it. I also want this, and I want it quickly, and I want it now, and I think it's been taking way too long to put a feature in the game that might actually elevate this game into something that, you know, will be very popular to watch on, you know, Twitch or YouTube, you know, with very, very good divisions going up against each other in a tournament or something like that. I don't understand why Wargaming isn't interested in that, but I suppose there is some sort of business plan behind it. Alright, next up, do you play mostly alone or with friends? And BRAV0 plays about 3/4 of his game in a division now. It's a bit of a rush to pull a game out of an almost certain defeat through good division play. And sure, yeah, it is. It's probably the last time you'll see this question here, because I've been thinking it doesn't make much sense to really have it. So let me know if you want to keep it, or I'll just take it out and put something else in its place. Alright, on to the last question. And if you could have one thing in the next update, what would it be? And it kind of, you know, joins into the question we had before about clans and training rooms are far overdue, and yes, they are. And if I could say a third thing, it's funny, everyone always says more than one thing here. Why doesn't the console version of ships have a stat page like World of Tanks? And yeah, again, I totally agree. Stats, also one of the things that I really want in this game. I know we have some stats, but they are totally flawed and they're not detailed enough. Like, I want to see my stats for every time I've played domination map on fault line, for example, in a certain ship. I want very detailed filtering, but not available. And yeah, I totally agree again here with BRAV0. That is something that we really need. Alright people, that was the legendary player video on F0XTR0T, probably the best destroyer player out there. So if you see an Xbox player with this gamer tag, you'll be better off getting him out of the game quite quickly if you have any intentions of winning. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know any feedback in the comments, please, and I'll see you out there.